Yesterday, April 24th, 2019, will be the day I remember for the rest of my life. It was thunderstorming the whole day. Ironically, at the end of the day, there was a rainbow just for me, a symbol of new life for me. After 11,587 days of breathing life, just merely existing, I am now free. Yesterday, Jehovah God came to me and finally gave me the answers I've been begging him for the last 31 years. He directed me to videos about being raised by narcissistic parents by New Minded and the pure pain and suffering of black sheep / scapegoats like myself had to suffer, as well as the golden child and the lost one as it relates to siblings. She rocked my spirit to the core. I had a really bad life, very bad, and both parents are equally to blame because both are narcissists. I started running away at 5 years old. That's like my daughter running away right now. My emotional needs as a young child were not being met at all. At 7 years old, I made my first suicide attempt. I can't picture 2 years from now my daughter trying to kill herself. I was not feeling loved at all. I was made to hate myself because, for one reason or another, I was the bad one or troubled one. What did I do so wrong as a young kid trying to grow up? I was always abandoned both physically and emotionally by everyone, a sheer outcast that nobody wanted. I was programmed into believing I was inadequate and nobody loves or even likes me. So I didn't love or like myself. The pattern of running away and suicide thoughts and attempts continued for 31 years. Mom, you abused me very bad. The hateful acts you committed against me were terrible for anyone to go through. Pure evil. There is probably not enough space on Google's server to write all the unspeakable and evil acts you committed against me, down to the pure mind control. You abused me physically, emotionally, and spiritually, and it has continued and affected me for 11,587 days of my life. Dad, you abused me very bad. You are equally complicit in the hate I saw and suffered from at the hands of both parents. The abuse I suffered from you for 11,587 days of my life was terrible and inexcusable. You did absolutely nothing to contribute to my physical, spiritual, and emotional needs for 11,587 days of my life, and only you are to blame for that hardcore abuse. You cannot say you didn't know all that was going on since you was not there. Please know, by not being there makes you 100% complicit and equally to blame for the abuse I suffered for 11,587 days of my life. As an ousted black sheep / scapegoat, I had to teach myself several things that a competent parent should have bestowed upon me. I tried very hard to prove I am worthy of really being loved. When my parents, for 11,587 days of my life, did not care to explore my potential or show me how to love or be loved. Both narcissistic parents had my mind, body, and soul wired for hate, disgust, and negativity for 11,587 587 days of my life. Both parents left me to fend for myself physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Both parents left their daughter, who was supposed to be made from love, to live on the streets of New York and New Jersey by herself, living outside with no food or shelter on the cold, mean streets. What did I do to deserve that but be born? Once again, both parents are to blame. You are complicit by doing nothing to help your starving, homeless daughter. Being raised by narcissistic parents for 11,587 days of my life has put me in very questionable relationships and dangerous situations. I find myself gravitating towards fellow narcissists like my parents, searching for love, family, and acceptance. I find myself meeting the needs of narcissists instead of myself. For 11,587 days of my life, I have not met anyone that has met my emotional needs, which I can thank my narcissistic parents for. Everyone has a motive or excuse for the hate they give. To the golden child of my siblings, for 11,587 days of my life, I envied you for being the special one. I wanted to be you so bad I grew to hate you. I was always told you got special things because you were the oldest. As the black sheep / scapegoat, I was programmed to believe you were the special one, and that if I wanted to be loved, adored, or showered with gifts, then I would be just like you. Our narcissistic parents geared your programming to believe I was the devil and that you were the perfect child, which made me feel inadequate and hated. I blamed you for 11,587 days of my life for the reason why I was not special. I blamed you for not talking sense into our parents to how they were treating me and for letting me be homeless. I blamed you for not having a sisterly relationship. I blamed you for not being my hero as a big sister. For 11,587 days of my life, I realized that it was by no means your fault. I realized that the golden child did not by any means have it good. I realized that the golden child of narcissistic parents are not loved either, but they are mere pawns and trophies in the games narcissists play. Please know that I took the brunt of the trauma so that you didn't have to. I understand your inactions in not intervening because you did not want to end up like me. Please know that after 11,587 days of my life, I do not blame you. Nothing was your fault. Our narcissistic parents are to blame for it all. Our parents, as narcissists, took joy in seeing us fight and hate each other to push their narcissistic agenda, to feed their need for chaos and making people think we only need them. On behalf of our narcissistic parents, I am sorry for you having to see me suffer abuse and not being able to help me. And I am sorry for the abuse you suffered as the golden child. To the lost one of my siblings, for 11,587 days of my life, I was too busy trying to fight off abuse and neglected you. I was programmed to believe you were the baby and are innocent and could do no wrong, and you get all the emotions for it. I saw you were always left alone and did not have to bear the brunt of the abuse. I thought you had it made being the baby of the family. We had our periods of being close sisters until our narcissistic parents saw that as a threat and caused chaos. After 11,587 days of my life, I realized you had it bad as well. While our narcissistic parents were busy praising the golden child and hating the black sheep, you were left in limbo, neglected, not knowing your place. You saw what the black sheep scapegoat had to endure and definitely didn't want that. And you saw what the golden child had to go through, and you wanted no parts of that either. I tried my best to shield you from the abuse by trying to continue to take the brunt of it for you. On behalf of our narcissistic parents, I am sorry for you having to see me suffer abuse and not being able to help me. I do not blame you. Nothing was your fault. Our narcissistic parents are to blame for it all. And I am sorry for the abuse you suffered as the lost child. On April 24th, 2019, it rained heavy. Jehovah God himself acknowledged my tears, and at the end of the day, he gave me a rainbow. For the first time in 11,587 days of my life, I met this new person. She is a beautiful, successful African queen. Her name is Ashley. She told me everything I went through in life was not my fault. She said your narcissistic parents are to blame for why you felt life was not worth living for 11,587 days. They are the reason why you almost passed down the cycle of abuse to my children. And that albeit they were abused themselves as kids, they made a conscious decision to not break the cycle and to pass the abuse down. Ashley told me to break the cycle right now. I am committed to telling my children they are beautiful kings and queens. I am committed to telling my kids they could be anything in the world they want to be, even a superhero. My kids do not have to finish what they start if what they are doing does not bring them joy or happiness. I spare the rod and do not beat my children. My children are individuals born with the same free choice I was naturally born with, and I am nobody to hinder that for them, like my narcissistic parents did for 11,587 days of my life. I love everyone. Please do not contact me with excuses for your behaviors. My siblings are the only ones that have valid excuses because they were abused too. And I'm too busy getting to know my new friend Ashley because I just met her after 11,587 days of my life. Stay golden.